Hey people, it is Wednesday, January the 3rd, 2024. It is 5:55 in the very early morning, and it is about 1 degree Celsius, maybe feeling a little bit colder with the wind chill, but there's not much of a wind chill. And I'm on the east side of downtown, heading north on Jarvis Street. I'm just a block or so north of Wellesley. And I'm going to continue north here for a bit, but eventually I'm going to make my way over to the Yonge and Bloor area. And then I'm going to start walking south down Yonge Street through downtown Yonge. I'm not sure how far south I'll get, at least as far as Queen, maybe further. So this will be a 6 a.m. downtown Yonge Street walk here on one of the first early mornings of 2024. This is only the second pre-recorded video I've recorded since the new year. The first was just right after the fireworks at 12:30 a.m. on January 1st. But other than that, I think this is probably the earliest I've been out recording a video in quite some time. Beginning at before 6 a.m., which is not usually the case. I usually do my early morning videos sometime after 6:30ish. I wanted to get out a bit earlier today to do the full downtown Yonge walk. And as you can see, it's pretty dead here on Jarvis Street right now. The morning rush hour downtown traffic hasn't begun yet. On the highways, though, coming into the city, it's well underway. And normally this is an annoying intersection to go through with all the traffic, but right now that's not an issue. I don't really pay too much attention to the lights. Now we're on Ted Rogers Way, just for the last leg up to Bloor Street. And I think this is the first early morning walk I'm recording with my new Osmo Pocket 3. Not including the right after midnight January 1st one, of course. we're at Bloor Street. Now we'll head west. I think the subways have just started running. I think they start around 5:30 a.m. on a weekday. There's the Manulife headquarters. All of its Christmas colors are no longer in effect. I think it's been a good 5 years since I've done an early morning walk along Bloor Street, actually. I think 2019 might have been the last time. Lots of people already up and at 'em here inside the gym. We're at Church and Bloor. I wonder if they're going to keep up these nice lights along Bloor all throughout the year. They don't necessarily have to be a Christmas thing. Right, maybe I will get off of Bloor here. And I'll start my walk down Yonge Street from a bit north of Bloor. We're just heading north up Park Road right now. It'll take us along Church here where it loops towards the west and meets up with Yonge Street. I see work is beginning on this new project here. A new tower will be going on this site. This old building will be meeting the Wrecker's Ball, I believe. Toronto Reference Library. Pretty neat looking building. It's a bit more interesting on this side than on the Yonge Street side. On the inside though, it's spectacular. It's the biggest of the Toronto library branches, of which there are about 100 branches across the city. I think it's one of the biggest public library systems in the world. And also one of the most well-used. It was one of the last remaining gas stations in the north end of downtown. You could argue that we're actually a bit north of downtown right now. But I would say downtown goes at least as far north as this intersection. And beyond that is the beginnings of Midtown. All right, we're at Yonge and Church, and Davenport Road begins on the other side, heading west. The Masonic Temple building. And Yonge Street, heading south. So we'll begin our early morning trek down the city's main drag. You could say the day is young. Here's the library again from this side. It's just like a big blank wall here. And over there is Yorkville. Nice old restored storefronts here along Yonge, where this condo project is and its next door neighbor. They look great. Now all we need is some new retail to come in and fill these spaces here. I have no doubt the rents are extremely high, and that's what's taking it so long. That could be said for almost every new project along Yonge Street with new retail spaces that replaced old ones. They often take sometimes years to fill up. They usually eventually do, but it results in less interesting retail than what was previously there. Much more in the way of chain stores and that sort of thing, and banks and whatnot. Not even retail, really, in some cases. I see the one that says coming soon there is a dental office, so no actual retail is on the way for this stretch anytime soon. And we're approaching Yonge and Bloor. Now there's no question we are coming into the heart of downtown Yonge after crossing Bloor. The new 1 Bloor West getting ever taller. It will eventually be one of the tallest buildings in the city at 91 stories when that's topped out, towering over its 76-story neighbor right here. I think it'll be second tallest after the Sky Tower down at the foot of Yonge Street. That'll be 105 stories. It's under construction as well, not as far along though as this one. So for a while, the 1 here will be the tallest building in the city until the Sky Tower catches up and surpasses it. And Chick-fil-A is not open yet. These early morning walks are always fun because I can often just walk right down the middle of the street, at least for a time. It's Charles Street. I don't see any traffic coming, so let's do it. Maybe I'll just wander from one side of the street to the other. Let's change things up a bit. This would be a Yonge Street walk, unlike any other I've done recently. It says open, but it doesn't look open. I think someone forgot to turn off the sign. Not really much open at all here. I mean, there are a few 24-hour restaurants. You've got this Popeyes here. And I know there are a number of other 24-hour restaurants along downtown Yonge. I did a video some time ago walking past as many 24-hour establishments as I could in like about a 1-hour walk around downtown, mostly the east side of downtown. I didn't really get over to the west side. I'm saving that for another time. Let's go back in the middle of the street. Oh, this is kind of fun. Until the party pooper cars come along. Looks like Butter Chicken Roti will be replaced by a 75-story tower here. Just one of quite a few very tall towers that are going to be adding to the canyon effect along downtown Yonge. Here's some more future retail. Who knows how long it'll be before these fill up. This project has been complete for a while now. I'm still waiting. And this was a little cafe here on the corner, but a restaurant of some sort. Now it's a medical center. Not quite as interesting from a pedestrian standpoint as retail or restaurant. They did a good job restoring the building, though. That was completely demolished and rebuilt again. In facade form, mostly. and the former gas works. It was a long time, very famous live music venue going back to the 80s and 90s, or maybe even before that. All right, traffic coming. And we're at Wellesley. Man, what in the world is happening here? Unfortunately, that seems to be the guy's home for now. I wonder if the police came to check out the situation here. No, it looks like they're just inside the McDonald's. This says it's open 24 hours as well. It's sort of like an adult-oriented shop here. We are open. Booths are open. This is like old school. Open on Christmas and New Year's also. Like booths. That's like going back to like the days of Yonge Street in its Sin Strip days in the 1970s and 80s, when that sort of thing was all along the street. Let's check out this side of the street. And more empty retail. I don't know if there's any sign of any action here. I think one store has opened up on this whole stretch. These spaces are just much bigger than the old retail spaces that were here before. And of course, a brand new tower development here. And you can imagine how much more expensive these spaces are now. This INS is the only thing that's open so far, which is basically a convenience store. And across the street we have more. This building just wrapped up construction. I like how they preserve the old clock tower here, though. More facadism, but I think that's the only part of this project that has been completely preserved. Everything else has been facadicized, or facadamized, however you want to say it. Well, there goes that cop I saw at the McDonald's. Just turned onto College Street. Now this condo here is relatively new, within the last 5 years or so. And in a very rare occurrence, the old building that was here that was demolished was the home to a few businesses, including the Hoops Sports Bar. And amazingly, when the new building was completed and these new spaces opened up, the Hoops Sports Bar returned to its original location on Yonge Street in the new development. You don't see that happen very often. And somebody was upset with this mailbox. It's been all taped off anyway, so that means it's not even in service for whatever reason. I've always loved this building here on the corner of Yonge and College. Unfortunately, it has a weed store at the base now. And I heard that Ontario will be allowing more weed stores to open than already exist. And I just thought, do we need any more? I mean, there are already too many. On streets such as Queen, sometimes they're literally across the street from one another, or one on every block, it seems. There's the Aura, College Park over here. Not too tidy around here right now. Oftentimes by later in the morning, this sort of thing has been all cleaned up. This time of day, you get to see what things look like before the cleaners come along. They often go around in little sort of vacuum vehicles, just a small golf cart looking thing with a big suction tube sucking up all the litter. That's right, Boxing Week is still in effect. So we're really coming into the heart of downtown Yonge now, south of College. There's College Park, the park across the street. Not to be confused with College Park, the building. And there's the 97 Yonge bus. It runs all night long when the subway is not running. It's jokingly referred to sometimes as the Vomit Comet. Often it's late night patrons are often in a drunken state, I suppose. We're at Gerrard Street. It's a downtown IKEA store. Actually, maybe I'll cross here so I don't have to walk under the scaffolding. Just ignore the light this time of day. And I can see construction workers are already on the job here at another very tall skyscraper. This will be an 85-story tower called Concord Sky. And it's finally above ground. I see it's taken several years to get to this stage now. The project sat dormant for quite a while as the original developer went bankrupt. And it took some time for a new developer to come and take over the project. It's good to see it starting to make its way above the street level. And those are facades of old buildings being propped up over there that will be incorporated into the base of the new tower, including what was once upon a time my favorite downtown pizza place, the Big Slice. R.I.P. Big Slice. Some more of the old facades here on this end too. And directly across the street, another skyscraper is underway. That one won't be as tall. It'll only be 69 stories. A veritable shrimp in comparison. Looks like Zanzibar isn't open yet. Must be new. I don't remember this. So I was talking earlier about the 70s and 80s version of Yonge Street when it was more of a sin strip, and this whole stretch was full of adult-oriented businesses. Just adult theaters and bookstores, peep shows, massage parlors, all that sort of thing. It got so bad that the city felt pressure to clean up Yonge Street. Kind of similar to how Times Square used to be in the 1970s and 80s. And of course, Yonge and Dundas right up ahead is Toronto's closest analog to that. So it sort of makes sense that this area was similarly seedy as Times Square. But those days are long gone. Just a few remnants remain, such as I passed, and a couple of strip clubs. The funny thing is, so many people now think this area is seedy. I just don't think they were around back in those days to see what seedy really is, because compared to that, this is not seedy in the slightest. It seems almost sanitized and family friendly. Here's Little Canada. It's an awesome attraction, having miniature cityscapes and landscapes of places all across the country, including an awesome downtown Toronto. Here's an example of the sort of thing you can expect inside, except on a much bigger scale, obviously. And I did do a video inside Little Canada a couple of years ago. If you're curious to see what that looks like. I think they've added quite a bit more to it, though, since my visit. I might have to go back and do an update. It was newly opened when I went. And here is Yonge and Dundas. Let's go in the middle of the street again. And the Eaton Center on this side. A huge downtown shopping mall. I've done many videos of the Eaton Center over the Christmas holiday season. It's considered the busiest mall in North America. And if you check out some of my videos, you'll see why, especially the Black Friday and Boxing Day videos. Even on a normal weekend, it's pretty jam-packed. Outside of Christmas, and you can actually go in the mall right now before opening and just walk through. Everything is closed, obviously. And I've done that in some previous videos. But I'll stick to outside here as we continue south along downtown Yonge. Shooter Street, Massey Hall, just up ahead there. These two old historic bank buildings have been spruced up. The one on the right is now incorporated into the base of the new, well, relatively new Massey Tower condominium. That opened in the last about 5 years ago or so, and this one is still kind of a question. I'm not sure what is going on with this one, but it's at least been made to look like there's life in it. I don't know if there actually is, though. It was a lot more derelict and abandoned looking just about a year ago or so. And the Elgin and Winter Garden Theatre. One of several theaters along downtown Yonge. I didn't really point out the other ones. The Mirvish Theatre was up that way. And there's another one up closer to Yonge and Bloor. When I say theater, I'm talking about live theater. There's a multi-screen Cineplex right at Yonge and Dundas for movies. Wow, they actually took down the scaffolding and construction hoarding around here. This is the first time I've seen this intersection this open in a very long time. But the street here itself is closed down, going in both directions along Queen. The new Ontario Line subway will be making its way through this intersection. And now we're coming into the more southerly part of downtown Yonge, where the financial district is located.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
It's Temperance Street, looking into the heart of the financial district. And that good life is bustling right now. And here is Adelaide Street. Getting closer to 7 a.m. now. Things are really going to start waking up. After 7, it starts to get quite a bit busier with people and with traffic. By 8 a.m., the morning rush hour is well underway, and downtown is bustling. People head into the office, especially on a Wednesday, which is the day when many people do come into the office. And here's King Street. So we're at Yonge and King. And I think I'm going to wrap up the walk here at Yonge and King. So I hope you enjoyed the very early morning walk around downtown. We began before 6 a.m. even on Jarvis Street. made our way north up to Bloor, and then eventually made our way over to Yonge and started heading south along almost the full length of downtown Yonge. And it was a very enjoyable early morning walk. I hope you liked it as much as I did. So be sure to leave a comment down below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And there's also a super thanks button right down below if you'd like to support the channel that way. And you can also become a channel member. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.